The Jews lived here without persecution. And when Israel was founded, the modern state of Israel, Israel is not a new nation, it's an ancient nation. Like India, it's an ancient nation with a modern state. And when it was founded not by the Jews, it was founded by the United Nations. And Israel is a member of the United Nations. And to seek the destruction of Israel is against international law. And therefore I say that when the people of India speak for Israel, they have a record. We did not persecute the Jews, and that's why the Israeli parliament, as soon as the modern nation was reconstituted, passed a resolution saying, "Thank you, India, you're the only country where the Jews were not persecuted." So the first reason why we should be friendly with Israel is that we have no clash of interests. We have much to gain by being together. The second reason is that Israel is a democracy, and so we are. But the whole area where Israel is surrounded by countries which are not democracies. In a vast area, territorial area, Israel is the only democracy. And democracies must be friends of democracies. And I would want to say, furthermore, those who want to liquidate Israel are not only not democracies or not democratic minded, but they also happen to be terrorists and jihadi attackers. So, this is a problem that we also face in Kashmir. And I want to tell you that whatever it is, while in India we are very happy to interact with the Muslims and the Christians and other religious groups, Hindu is a religion which says all religions lead to God. And therefore we respect all religions because they all lead to God. But I want to say this, that if you were to see the countries which are majority or almost all population are Muslims, they do not practice what they demand when they are minorities. For instance, in Saudi Arabia, there are so many Hindu workers there, almost a few millions. But we find that they cannot build temples in Saudi Arabia. They cannot celebrate Diwali in Saudi Arabia. They cannot even hold Satyanarayan Puja inside their house. It's against Saudi Arabian law. They cannot even take a picture of Ramchandra ji in their pocket when they go to work. And severe punishment follows. Do we in our country say to the minorities of Muslims here, you can't build masjids, you can't celebrate Eid? And here they want it. But in their own country, when they are in majority, they do not permit it. Even in our own country. In Kashmir, look at the plight of the Hindus there, the Hindu minority. The Kashmiri Pandits have been driven out of Kashmir. In Kerala, in Malappuram, you have to see the plight of the Hindus there, where the Muslims are in majority. I don't blame the Muslims, their mind is clear. I blame the Hindus because we are confused people. We are like Arjuna sitting in the middle of the battle wondering whether I should kill or not kill. And why have you come to battle? Krishna had to explain to him. But in the Muslim mind there is no confusion. Therefore I say today, when they say they want to eliminate Israel, wipe out Israel, Hamas has still not recognized Israel. Iran wants to wipe out Israel. What for? It's a country which is incorporated in the modern era by the United Nations and is against international law to speak in this language. But immediately they will say, no, wipe it out. Why should the Muslims of India identify themselves with the Hamas when they are Indians? They have to look at Indian national interests just like the Tamils. Just as the Tamils have to look at the national interests of India and not the interests of Tamils in Sri Lanka. We may show concern, but that doesn't mean we change our policy. So I would say I expect our Muslims in India that if you're patriotic, you will support what is in the country's interest. Now this is a dangerous philosophy. They are connected up with Al-Qaeda, they are connected up with Taliban, and Taliban says that India is an incomplete chapter of Islamic history. Because wherever else they went and conquered, they have converted the local population into 100% Muslim country population. But in India, after 800 years also, their 80% is Hindu. The last Caliph, namely Umar, he conquered most of Europe. And then he declared, I'm going to India. He came to Sindh. And 3 kingdoms, Hindu kingdoms, of Pratihara of Gujarat, Chalukyas of Maharashtra and Andhra, defeated them, and it was the collapse of the Caliphate. And I want to say that today, if the Caliphate again threatens us, we'll again defeat them the way we did. We are no more defeating. Now, therefore, for these reasons, and the fact that we had harmonious relations with the Jewish community, we have Jews in our country, we have had inter-religious discussions with the Jews, and in that an important breakthrough took place when the Jewish rabbis accepted that India may have many gods, but it's a manifestation of a single God. And they said, from now on, Jews and Hindus will be together in the religious sphere also. Now today, what we are witnessing is a crude attempt was made for the destruction of Israel. It was the beginning. What started in Iraq led to a similar uprising in Gaza, and subsequently it was to extend, but Israel took preemptive action. And that preemptive action is now, media-wise, could be portrayed in any way, it doesn't matter to us. I can tell the people of Israel, let the media show only one side, it will make no difference to the 80% or 85% of India. Some people say Israel was created by driving the Palestinians out. How is that? The Palestinians themselves came from Saudi Arabia. Then they say Palestinians also need a nation. You need a nation? Jordan is 54% Palestinian. You got a Jordan. Jordan is a Palestinian country. You don't need a new country. But Israel was still ready to create a Palestinian authority and would convert it to a state if they lived in peace. But they have not had a single day of peace since that agreement to create the Palestinian authority. So I want to say, therefore, that today we as a people will pledge that we will never countenance or allow the destruction of Israel. We will work for bonding and further bonding with India's relations with Israel. I look forward to the possibility very soon, maybe at the early next year, that our Prime Minister will visit Israel and establish Janata. I think it's time, because Israel has technology but limited manpower. We have limited technology and unlimited manpower. We are natural countries to come together. I was also told in China, where I have spent a lot of time improving relations between India and China, the Chinese also have a good relations with Israel. The Israeli embassy is there. And I think that the time has come to fight, in order to fight Israel, in order to fight for the enemies against the enemies of Israel. We need to bring together countries which face similar problems. And therefore we should look in the perspective of building mutual assistance pact with the Israelis. India and Israel should have a mutual assistance pact to help each other whenever necessary. Israel never need to fear that we are only 8 million or 7 million. And the Arabs are 150 million surrounding them. The 1.2 billion Indians are ready with you. And those who are not for Israel, they don't matter. Because in our country, the national interests will prevail. We are a democratic country. It's not only the majority is for good relations with Israel, but it is also an overwhelming majority. And this has been a constant situation since the 1940s. India has been supported. India has been supporting, as Indian people have been supporting, right through. We recognized Israel as one of the earliest countries in 1950, and a consulate was established. But unfortunately, the Soviet influence in India, which was backing terrorist-prone states like Syria, Egypt, Iraq, and Libya, the Soviet influence in India put a brake on our relations with Israel.